All right, we're back with you with Barry Jennings and Nicole Patino, both of them lawyers, talking about employment issues and workers' comp. So Barry, let's go to you and talk about when someone is talking about workers' comp, what kind of benefits does workers' comp cover?
Thanks. There's two types of benefits that workers' comp covers generally. The first one is medical expenses, and then the second one has to do with things like lost wages or whether you've sustained any permanent injury and benefits for that. Under the medical expenses piece of workers' comp, the difference with workers' comp is that, and the really good thing is that workers' comp covers 100% of your expenses. So if you're having a work injury, your employer agrees that you have a work injury, and they start paying for your medical expenses, you don't have any co-pays, no deductibles, you shouldn't be getting any bills. If you're getting bills and your employer's paying the bill, you don't owe anything else. But it's not like health insurance, covers 100%, but the employer gets to choose your doctor usually. There's some exceptions to that. If you're running into issues with a doctor, certainly you need, if you're in a workers' comp claim and you're having those kind of issues, talking to a lawyer may help. But that's one type of benefits. The other, it relates to wage replacement. If you're out of work because of a work injury and you've missed more than 7 days, you could be eligible for those benefits. They usually pay about 2/3 of what you were making, and it's tax-free. And then if you have a permanent injury, or your injury causes you to be able to work but you earn less money, there's benefits there too. But all of those things can be pretty complex to wrestle with, and so getting in touch with a qualified lawyer to look at that is probably a good thing if you have a lot of questions.
All right, well, and I'm guessing with this next question about should I be taking the workers' comp settlement offer that the company is giving me, I'm guessing that is something that you definitely want to get a lawyer's input in.
Surely, because what they're asking you to do in lots of situations, not everyone, but they're asking you to close out your case, which is kind of like a divorce. You're splitting ways with the insurance company, with your employer in relation to this workers' comp claim. And the one thing that I tell folks is, these workers' comp cases, again, are like something. They're like a transmission in a car. That's a complex device. You might change your oil, but if you go digging in that transmission, you're going to tear it up and make a mess. Same thing with a workers' comp settlement. If you start messing with it and you haven't dealt with it before, you got to be careful, because they're asking you to give up rights to medical treatment and rights to any more income benefits. So talking with someone who's dealt with that before makes a lot of sense.
All right, Nicole, this person is texting, my employer does not require us to wear masks at work, but I have an underlying condition and I wear mine. What protective rights do I have as an employee going back into the workspace?
So right now, what I would recommend is that first talk to HR and ask them, but also you can file a complaint with OSHA if you feel unsafe in the workplace. It's a little iffy right now because things are opening back up and people are getting their vaccines, but you have a couple of avenues.
All right, this next text question is a follow-up to the COBRA question. With the COBRA insurance coverage, do you or your employer have to fill anything out?
Yes, your employer will notify you and you will have to elect the COBRA coverage, but they will let you know whether you qualify for the benefits. And like I said, it's 100% paid. There's a subsidy to the employer, so it's a great benefit.
All right, Barry, this question says, I have a case now and was denied workers' comp. I submitted a hearing review. What should I say during the hearing, and do you recommend an attorney?
Yeah, definitely talk with an attorney to find out if they can help you, because anytime you're going in front of a judge and you're arguing for your case, if you need somebody experienced to talk with you about it, because if they've denied your case, there's reasons why the insurance company's denied it. The workers' comp law can be tricky. There's lots of twists and turns. It's been going on for 90 years now. There's lots of cases back from the 40s and 50s and 60s, and so finding somebody that's a board certified workers' comp specialist to talk to, they're the best ones to figure out what you need to say, because you want to make sure when you're in front of that judge that you don't mess up and you say something that really harms your situation or your case. Okay,
and just really quickly, could COVID ever be a workers' comp claim?
It can. I've got some cases right now where people have been, the insurance company has agreed that they developed COVID as a result of their workplace exposures. In North Carolina, there's 2 ways to get it, but in North Carolina, if you have COVID and you're worried about whether it was work-related, you definitely should call a lawyer.
Okay. Thank you both for your time and expertise. If you missed any of those answers, you can find this interview in the Who Wants to Know section.